Bears fans, what's going on? We're back with another video packed with fresh updates, important insights, and everything you need to know about our Chicago Bears heading into this next matchup. This is the place for every fan who bleeds navy and orange, and we've got a lot to talk about today. From the latest injury reports to the ongoing struggles on special teams, to some encouraging performances from key players, it's all happening right now. So settle in, because this one's going to be loaded. Let's start with something that might have flown under the radar, but could make a real impact. Ian Ogbongbam being activated from short-term injured reserve. That move might not make huge headlines, but it's sneaky smart by the Bears. Carl Jones was cut to make room, and while he'll likely end up back in the practice squad, this adjustment says a lot about where the team's focus is heading into Week 10. The Bears have been flat-out bad on special teams this season, and that's being polite. Bringing Ian O back could help steady the ship. This is a guy who was brought back specifically for his ability to contribute in that area. If he can bring back some of that fire and energy, it could give this unit the spark it's been missing. Now, injuries, the story that never seems to go away. The Bears are dealing with quite a few, and some of them might seriously affect the lineup this weekend. TJ Edwards didn't practice for the second straight day, listed with both a hand and hamstring issue. The concern is that hamstring, since that's what caused him to miss time earlier this year. It's starting to look like he's re-aggravated it, and honestly, it doesn't seem likely he'll play this week. That's a real loss because the combination of Edwards and Tremaine Edmunds has been one of the more consistent parts of the defense lately. They've been flying around, tackling well, and giving the middle of the defense some stability. Josh Blackwell remains in the concussion protocol, so he's probably out as well. Dominique Robinson is still sidelined with that high ankle sprain, and it looks like he'll be down for at least another week or two. Meanwhile, Joe Thuney got his usual rest day on Thursday, so nothing to worry about there. On the more positive side, Kevin Byard, who didn't practice yesterday, was limited today, a good sign that he's trending in the right direction for Sunday. Roscoe Johnson continues to battle through a back injury, and he's been limited in practice too, but there's some optimism around him. DJ Moore has also been managing a hip and groin issue. After sitting out Wednesday, he was limited on Thursday, which tells us he's pushing to be out there. There's also Rome, who's been dealing with an ankle and heel problem. Both he and Moore are playing through pain right now, and it shows in certain moments. In Rome's case, his route running hasn't been as sharp. You can tell that ankle is bothering him. These are the kinds of nagging injuries that make a difference in production. Still, credit to both guys for battling through it and trying to be available for their quarterback. A few brighter notes from the practice field. Kyle Monangai is good to go. DeAndre Swift, who was limited yesterday, went full today, and that's excellent news. He's been one of the more dynamic offensive weapons when healthy, and getting him fully back in the rotation adds another layer to this offense. Luther Burden was also full for the second straight day. It's still unclear if he's completely out of the concussion protocol, but everything points to him being cleared in time to play. It's rare to see a guy come back from a concussion that quickly, so if he's truly ready, that's a major boost. And let's not forget about Amon Agbogbamiga. He's been activated after weeks of full participation in practice. It's been a long road for him, and he's finally ready to get back out there. Now, when it comes to the Giants, their injury list is long and messy. Their top corner, Paulson Adebo, hasn't practiced and is probably out. Same with wide receiver Bo Collins. They've been dealing with kicker issues all season, and Graham Gano's neck injury might force them to call up another leg. It's been that kind of year for them. John Michael Schmitz, their starting center, might also be down, which would leave them scrambling on the offensive line. And while Andrew Thomas got a rest day, other linemen like Jermaine Illuminor have been limited. That could be a serious problem for a team already struggling to protect the quarterback. Now let's talk about a part of the game that's been a real sore spot, special teams. Richard Hightower, who oversees that unit, has been taking plenty of heat from fans, and honestly, it's hard to argue against it. Just a year ago, this group was solid. Fast forward to now, and it's been rough. Hightower himself admitted that the performance against Cincinnati wasn't anywhere close to their standard. The coverage units were poor, the mistakes kept piling up, and he took responsibility, saying everyone, himself included, has to look in the mirror. But words only go so far. The product on the field has to change. To be fair, the punt team hasn't been terrible. Torrey Taylor has been booming punts lately, and the coverage on that unit has held up pretty well. The real problem areas are kickoff coverage and returns. Outside of 1 or 2 decent returns, they've done very little to help the team with field position. In fact, it's been the opposite. They're getting outgained consistently in kickoff yards, sometimes by double digits on average. That might not sound huge, but over the course of a game or a season, it adds up to lost opportunities and points left on the table. Even field goals have been a talking point. Cairo Santos, usually one of the most accurate kickers in the league, has had an uneven year. He's still reliable inside his range, but the issue is his range itself. He's 11 for 14 this season. Not awful, but not what you want from a guy known for consistency. His career accuracy has hovered around 90%, but this season, that number has dipped noticeably. And when your kicker doesn't have a big leg to begin with, missing those mid-range kicks hurts even more. On top of that, even some of his makes haven't looked as clean. The ball's coming off his foot lower, not traveling as straight. On the blocked kick last week, it was already veering left before it even hit a defender's hand. The Bears are clearly monitoring the situation closely. Santos will likely be the guy again this week, but it feels like his leash is getting shorter. Jake Moody is sitting on the practice squad, and he's got that big leg that could change the dynamic in late-game situations. You could try from 58 or 60 yards with him and at least have a shot. The question is whether the Bears trust him yet. Accuracy still matters, and while Moody might have range, Santos has had years of reliability, at least until recently. But if the struggles continue, don't be shocked if a change is made sooner rather than later. Now let's shift the focus to one of the biggest bright spots for Chicago lately, Montez Sweat. You can feel it when he's on the field, that mix of energy, power, and urgency that every defensive line needs. Over the past few weeks, Sweat has finally looked like the player the Bears invested in, the guy they expected to be a game-changer when they brought him in through that big. Look at the numbers from his last few games. 3 sacks for tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and a couple of pass breakups. Those stats tell the story of a player who's not just showing up, but taking over. During the recent watch parties, his name keeps coming up, and that's what you want from a defensive lineman. You want to notice him for the right reasons. Big stops, pressures, forcing quarterbacks to rush their throws. Earlier in the year, you could go through entire games without hearing his name. That's not the case anymore. He's everywhere, and that's exactly what this defense needs right now. The Bears' front four has had its share of issues generating pressure. Too often, quarterbacks have been able to sit comfortably in the pocket and pick apart the defense. Sweat's resurgence is starting to change that dynamic. He's setting the tone up front, and when a guy with his skill and motor plays with that kind of consistency, it elevates everyone around him. What stands out is how balanced his game has been. He's not just hunting sacks, he's playing disciplined football, holding his edge in the run game, and forcing opposing offenses to account for him on every snap. Statistically, he's graded well across the board, scoring in the 70s in both pass rush and run defense categories, according to film evaluations. Those are the kinds of performances that validate the team's faith in him. When Chicago made that move, critics questioned whether Sweat could live up to the expectations of being a cornerstone defensive player, especially given the size of his contract. And while it's still early to say he's fully justified it, the recent trend suggests he's on the right path. You can see it in the way he's attacking each play. He looks confident, he looks fast off the line, and he's finding ways to disrupt offenses no matter what they throw at him. What's impressive is how he's responded to the pressure. When the team traded for him, there was an immediate spotlight. New system, new city, big money, big responsibility. For a while, it looked like he was pressing too much, maybe overthinking instead of playing loose and instinctive. Now, that tension seems to be gone. You can tell he's comfortable, like he's finally adjusted to the rhythm of this defense. And that kind of growth doesn't just happen overnight. It comes from experience, film study, and chemistry with teammates. Speaking of chemistry, his relationship with the rest of the defensive line has noticeably improved. The communication pre-snap looks sharper, and that's allowing for better execution when it comes to stunts, twists, and run fits. The Bears' defense, at its best, has always been built on collective effort. When one guy wins his matchup, it opens the door for everyone else. Sweat's presence has started to restore that identity. You can see guys feeding off his energy. He's clapping after stops, firing up the sideline, getting vocal between plays. Exactly what you want from a defensive leader. But as good as he's been, there's still room for more. That's what Dennis Allen meant when he said there's meat left on the bone. The Bears didn't bring Sweat here to just be solid. They brought him here to dominate. And if he keeps trending upward, it's not hard to imagine him becoming that kind of force the player offense's game plan around. Every elite defense has that one disruptor, the guy who changes how teams call plays. Sweat has the potential to be that player for Chicago. He's showing flashes of it now. The challenge is sustaining it over the long haul. Defensive success often comes down to complementary football. When the coverage unit holds up on the back end, it gives guys like Sweat the extra second they need to get home. That's been happening more lately. The secondary has tightened up, communication has improved, and you're starting to see it pay off in the trenches. The defense as a whole looks more cohesive than it did in the first few weeks of the season, and Sweat's uptick in production is a big reason why. Still, consistency will be the key. The NFL is a week-to-week league. One strong month doesn't erase the need to keep building. Sweat's next test will be maintaining this level of play when opponents start throwing extra blockers his way. Chip help from tight ends, double teams from guards, even motioning backs to his side to slow him down. That's what happens when you become a threat. It's the respect good players earn, but it also means he has to keep evolving. The best pass rushers find ways to win even when they're the focus of an entire offensive game plan. There's something about his confidence lately that feels different, though. He's celebrating with teammates, he's talking more during pressers, and you can sense that belief building inside the locker room. For a team that's been trying to climb out of inconsistency, having a player who's turning into a reliable defensive cornerstone is a massive boost. The Bears have been looking for a tone setter up front for years, and they might finally have one. Now, whether he's back or bike, as the players like to joke, what matters is that Montez Sweat is producing. And production is contagious. When the defense starts generating pressure and winning battles at the line of scrimmage, everything else gets easier. Turnovers come, the offense gets better field position, and suddenly, the game feels different. This is the kind of turnaround Chicago has been waiting for. And if Sweat keeps this up, it might just be the start of something real. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling around Soldier Field as Chicago Bears head coach Ben Johnson reportedly dropped a bombshell in a statement that has left fans and analysts scrambling for answers. "He's not playing with me anymore." The cryptic comment, uttered in a tense press conference this morning, has sparked immediate speculation about the future of one of the team's most talked-about players. While Johnson did not specify who exactly he was referring to, insiders suggest it could involve a key offensive weapon whose performance and attitude have been under scrutiny all season. The Bears, a team desperate to regain their former glory in a notoriously tough NFC North, have seen their locker room dynamics fluctuate dramatically over the past months. Johnson, known for his no-nonsense approach and fiery temperament, rarely makes such declarations publicly, making this remark all the more significant. Sources close to the organization hint that tensions between the coach and the unnamed player have been simmering for weeks, perhaps months, culminating in today's blunt dismissal. Fans immediately took to social media, with speculation running wild from veteran quarterbacks to star wide receivers, each theory more dramatic than the last. Could this be the fallout from a heated sideline argument during a critical loss? Or perhaps a response to ongoing trade rumors that have dogged the Bears for the better part of the season? Analysts are weighing every possible scenario, noting that Johnson's declaration could signal a benching, a release, or even a trade in the coming weeks. Inside the team, whispers suggest that locker room morale could be at stake. If a cornerstone player is indeed at odds with the coach, the repercussions could ripple through the entire roster. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly keeping a keen eye on Chicago, waiting to see if an opportunity arises to pick up talent suddenly deemed surplus. For now, the city of Chicago is buzzing with speculation. The statement, "he's not playing with me anymore," has become the rallying cry of a rumor mill that shows no signs of slowing down. Fans, analysts, and rival scouts alike are left asking the same question. Who is the player that Ben Johnson has seemingly written off? And what does this mean for the Bears' playoff hopes? One thing is certain. In the NFL, where loyalty is fleeting and headlines move at the speed of a quarterback's throw, this story is far from over. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.